Hi YouTube, it's Ben here from Planted Tanks, and today we're going to do a quick review of the Aqua One Nano 40. It's actually a brilliant little all-in-one tank. We're going to unbox it today, have a look what's included, and I'll give you my idea on what I think is good and what I think could be improved to give you a real idea of whether this is a tank that you should be considering buying. So let's get it open. Let's take a very quick whiz around the tank. You can see it's a really nice cube shape. The filtration system takes up a big proportion of the tank, which can be a really nice thing. It means you've got plenty of space to be able to put filter meter in there. Okay, so we've got it out of the box. It wasn't actually easy to get out of the box. But overall, this is actually a really nice size nano tank. To give you an idea why I quite like this tank, or why I think it's probably one I'd recommend, is the big filtration at the back. A lot of these nano tanks have really small filtration. You have little sit-in internal filters, but this is a really big capacity filter. It also means you can pack it with lots of different things, not only the stuff that it comes with, but you get all sorts of options about what you can actually put and pack into that filtration system, and it's all nicely hidden in this all-in-one system. You don't have to have anything underneath the tank, hanging over the side of the tank, or actually inside, sitting in the tank. So overall, I'm a really big fan of these big filtration systems. It comes with this filter here, Aqua One power head. This is a really simple filtration system which you actually just put in the back, and it draws water coming in through this hole here and a small hole at the bottom, draws it in across the back there and pumps it out. There's a small slot you'll be able to see just there. So we'll get that out and have a look at that in a moment. It also comes with 55 watt heater, so a really decent sized heater, which is plenty for the size of the tank. The big upgrade actually from the one in previous years. So this is sort of the 2018, 2019, 2020 model, and it comes with this new LED lighting system, and this actually is quite impressive. This is definitely one of the reasons to look at buying it. I'm just going to pull it out of this box here, and you can see it's actually quite a big, sturdy LED panel. It actually comes nicely boxed with a variety of different hanging options. But we're going to get this up and running. I'm going to turn this on. But the LED lighting system is part of this tank. If you're buying it, check with your retailer that it's the newer version. Is actually strong enough to grow the majority of easier to medium difficulty in terms of plants. So you don't actually need to upgrade the lighting system unless you're really trying to get those harder to grow plants. If you want carpeting plants and you want a really vividly bright aquarium and you're going to have CO2 injected into it, you might want to look at upgrading the lighting. But otherwise, this is a fantastic lighting system. For the majority of users, this will be more than enough, and it's a really nice upgrade and adds to a great value piece of kit when you think about going all in on a system like this. Okay, so I've set up the lighting system, and as I said, I am a big fan, but there is one fault here that's something to think about, is that there's actually blue and white LEDs in here, which is really nice, especially those actually that want to look at potentially putting in a marine tank. You don't have to use fresh water, but there's two separate cables for each of these LEDs, one for the blues, one for the whites, which is two separate plugs. So you're using two sets of plugs, two sets of cables for one lighting system, which is a bit rubbish. I think that the lights are good. You can see that's white, white off, blue on its own, white on its own, and obviously them together. Whilst it's a really nice lighting system, and for one that comes with a complete set, it's good. Having the two cables is irritating, and that's something that would bother me over time. I'd rather have less cables going in or out of the tank, but you can probably tie those together. It's not a huge deal, and most people wouldn't notice it, but for me, it bothered me a little bit, and that's one of the reasons why you may want to replace this at some point in the future. Having said that, it's a really good lighting system. Okay, so going on to filtration, as I said, it's a really big selling point of this tank. At the back of this tank, there's obviously this big void, and one of the first pieces that go in are these little panels. So you slot these panels one in front of the other, and as the water flows in through the top vents here, it goes through. And this is kind of like a fine filter floss with activated carbon in. I don't know if you can see that in the video, but these are actually really quite good panels. And then you've got some filter media, some biomass here for healthy bacteria to be able to stick on too. Once you get through that, you have a pretty large sponge for all the water to be able to filter through, and then eventually it gets pumped back out into the system. Now, the only criticism here, and some of you have left comments in previous reviews around this tank, is that water flow can sometimes get restricted. If you want to increase water flow, get rid of the first panel of filtration. It'll actually start speeding things up if you just have this one. Alternatively, remove these two completely, get a filter bag and get some biomass, some filter wool, and put it at a later part further down in the filtration area, and then you'll get that flow again. So if flow is getting a bit slow, that's one of the easiest ways. You can remove these and speed it up. Alternatively, there's a very small hole right at the bottom of the tank. And this, again, helps with flow issues. You don't want the filter to be really, really low and you'll burn out the filter. So you need to keep the water levels at a pretty high level. So just drill another hole or make the hole bigger. If you do that, it's a bit easier for the flow to be able to come in. Be careful if you've got things like small shrimps, rasboras, or any sort of small nano livestock. But that will also help water flow. So I don't think it's a big issue. It wouldn't put me off buying the tank. And I certainly think it's very easy to adjust water flow if you do want it to be a bit faster or a little bit slower by what you put in the back of that media piece. And then lastly, we're just going to talk about the lid. So it does come with a glass lid, which is nice. I think that a lot of tanks these days come with plastic lids. Obviously glass is much better, it will scratch less. Put that over there. So a nice glass lid, very simple to use. It comes with these things, which I think are okay. You just feed these onto the corners, push that in. Well, that wasn't as smooth as I was hoping. And then we'll put the other one in here, and I'll just put it on so you can get an idea. You've got a bit of a glass top. Glass tops are actually really important in a lot of tanks because it stops evaporation. When you're talking about a filtration system that requires a certain level of flow, otherwise the motor will get dry or just stop pumping water, it's important to be able to slow down evaporation and use water changes to be able to balance water rather than just keep evaporating water and topping it back up. That causes a number of different issues as well. So all in all, the Aqua One Nano is a great little tank. I do recommend it. I think it's a really nice size. I think the filtration system's great. The lighting system is great. With some small errors, the cable is a bit annoying with the lighting system. The filtration system can be a little bit slow when it gets clogged up. But overall, it's definitely a really good buy and a really good purchase. If you're still watching, you like this video, please subscribe. And I hope to see you again for another video which shows you the full setup. Once we've got livestock, we've got some plants in there, and I'll show you the tank when it's up and running as well. So look out for a video in the coming few weeks on that.